True story. That's what I wanted to be as a kid, a car salesman, because I saw these flash guys with these amazing cars, and I wanted to be that. As it happens, doing 60 hours a week now, they count me out. But I wanted to be a car salesman. So what did you want to be as a kid? And then don't answer that, just answer it yourself internally. And then say what went wrong with that vision, what went wrong with that dream. Did you get locked in a coal shed by your dad when you said, oh, so I'm never going to do that again? What happened? Because something happened that blew you off your idea, your vision. I'm going to do a 3-hour seminar right now in 20 minutes. Right? So I'm going to cut a load of stuff up, but what I'm going to try and do is take you from where you are today to a point in 20 minutes time where you go, you know what, I'm going to make changes to my life today. I'm going to actually do something with my life. I'm going to do something with my business. That thing that I've been talking or thinking about doing, I'm going to do it as from today. When was the day that it all changed for you? Think about that. When was the day that it all changed for you? Because we've all got a day when your life went in a different direction, when you met your partner, or there's shit happening in your life. And guess what about shit happening in your life? It does happen in your life. Get used to it. Right? But every single bad decision that you've ever made, every single bad bit of bad luck that's come your way, or whatever, brings you here today to this room today, listening to this fat bloke from Manchester. Right? But the point is this: every decision that you've ever made, even the bad experiences, brought you here today. So when was the day that all changed for you? Forget that. Come back in a second. I want you to think for a second about the worst day of your life. Forget that. I want you to think about the best day of your life. These two bookends of your life and I'll steer you down the path you know walk. The worst day of my life back in 1993, I had 2 bullets put through my window over in Manchester. 2 bullets. So everything that was so important the day before, smoking weed, playing Mega Drive games, watching my Sky television, no longer important. All of a sudden that's been replaced with shit, fear, needed to go, and the likes. And I moved from Manchester to Somerset, which is where I live now, to get away from all that. If I'd not done that, the worst day of my life, I'm ever going to come through this, I wouldn't have met my wife, I wouldn't have 3 children, I wouldn't have started my business. Everything happens for a reason, even the shitty stuff. Get used to it, understand rather than use it and go, oh, my life's shit because of what happened in the past. Forget it. Brings you to where you are today. So when was the day that it all changed for you? The day it all changed for me recently, December the 16th, 2004. I say recently, because it is recent in time. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I told my employer to shove his job up his arse. Anyone ever done it? Good. Anyone ever thought about doing it? I knew you do that. I knew you. Rabble rouser. Like your card, man, don't you worry, I've got a big file on you. But I told my employer to shove his job up his arse and appoint a principal. I was working for a company over in London. I think it was on 33 grand a year. And that sounds alright, 33 grand a year. Well, it would be if you didn't take into account that I had to then get on my car from Somerset and drive there and back and have digs in there. I might as well have fucking hamburgers at Western-super-Mare Seafront. So I was marketing for this company, and the director said to me, "Can you do a marketing plan for the company?" It was an £8 million company, and I come up with this amazing marketing plan. And in this board meeting, after 3 days of planning this thing, he said, "Nah, that idea won't work. That won't work. That won't work. That won't work." Every single idea of mine, they dismissed. And I went, you know what? Fuck your job. And I walked. December 16, 2004. And I tell you something, people, it was a wonderfully liberating experience. It really was. It was 3 hours whilst I drove home. I'm married. I've arrived home outside the house. You know when your blood goes cold? Yeah, that. You know you can't comprehend something. You just keep going over and over again. You've just got no answers. Hi honey, I'm home. You're home early. Are you here to look after baby Ben while I go shopping? 8.5 stone of common sense there, boys and girls. No honey, I told my employer to shove the job up the arse. What do you think, boys and girls? My supportive wife said, "Such an effing idiot. Why couldn't you keep your mouth shut for 5 days and get Christmas pay?" She had a point. Look Kerry, it's fine, I'm going to start my own business off. How difficult can it be? See, my understanding about running your own business was as a BMW 5 Series, the Audi Coupe, nice crisp suits and profit and loss sheets and hedge funds and just nonsense. The reality of running your own business is low sales, no sales, depression. In my case, a whinging wife. There's no book on that. There is now, it's available at all good bookstores. But the point I'm trying to make here is this: nothing prepares you for the reality of running your own business. Because when you're employed, it's great, because if you can't be arsed working, you just pretend. You still get paid. Brilliant. John's been doing it for 3 years at American Express. Right? How's that redundancy working out for you, fella? Good man. That's the thing. I know him too well. But that's the thing. You know, my wife says to me, "Go and get a proper job, at least you know where you stand." Bullshit alarm. At least you know where you stand. You don't know where you stand in a proper job. Oh, but you do, because you get regular money. Tell that to the 4,000 or the sixth of the workforce at HSBC that's just been getting laid off. Tell that to Boots, 2,000 people just get laid off. Tell that, you don't know where you stand. When you run your own business, you know exactly where you stand. Skin, get fucking used to it. Because that's the reality of it. You're going to be skint running a business. Because in your mind's eye, you've got this business plan that says, hey, guess what? In 2 years, we're going to do this, we're going to break this in verticals, and before 2 years, we're going to be breaking even, we're going to make loads of money. Bullshit. I've been in business now 11 years. And every single time I thought I'd made it, something comes along and curtails it. It's a tough, long, arduous road, but it's fine. You know why? Because I asked you from the outset this question: where is your destination programmed to for your life? As long as you've got that programmed correct there, it's fine. I'm going to share something with you. If your only motivation is an Audi Q7, it's not enough. Don't get me wrong, great car, right? But the point I'm trying to make is that's your only motivation for running a business. I want an Audi Q7, great. But when you get a punch in the mouth, metaphorically speaking, by the way, it's not 1993 outside the hacienda anymore, is it, my bad? But when you get a punch in the mouth in your business, oh, I want an Audi Q7, let's go. No. It's very tough to motivate yourself on that basis. Yeah. So we're going to get to that in a second as well, as to why you're doing it. Because once you tune that in as to why you're doing it, you become unbeatable, which is what's happened here. Because what you don't know about me, I don't have a qualification to my name, not one. My dad was a heroin addict. I was brought up in the council estates of Manchester. I've got a Jimmy Savile badge on a 7. Lost half the audience. It works better with vodka, that one, I promise. You're laughing, you're naughty, aren't you? The point I'm trying to make is this. Not hardly ideal conditions. Not ideal conditions for my life. And if you're waiting for ideal conditions, like my wife was saying, hey, don't start your business off, Brad, because we need 3 months worth of money, Brad. 3 months worth of money, trying to save £100 a month or 200 quid a month. It took me 3 years, and then what happens? The boiler goes, or the alternator goes in the car, and then the next thing, under warranty. But the point I'm trying to make is if you're waiting for ideal conditions, you're going to be waiting a very long time. Yeah, but Brad, what happens if a meteor from the planet Mars drops on the Earth and blows it all up? What happens if, honey, I work my bollocks off for the next 10 years and we end up going to Disney World with the kids? What about that? Because I could have worked every single day at that company and still never be afforded to be able to take my children to Disney World, which was one of my motivations. I promised my children I'd take them. Because if you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone else. Because it's a whole lot easier doing it for your children. It's a whole lot easier doing it for your mum's private healthcare, which is what I do with mine. Networking, I'm going to come back to that in a second. Networking, I've been doing this thing for 11 years now. And the way I started 4Networking off was that I started my own, what's that a job? Started my own marketing business off. And one of the things that I realised is I needed appointments. Right, appointments, we all need appointments. Oh, well, I need an hour for my appointment, so 10 minutes one-to-one's not an appointment. Well, you might need an hour. The person opposite you needs about 40 seconds to establish, do I like this person? I've done it where I've spent, 6 weeks ringing someone up to try to get an appointment. Then you drive there for an hour, best behaviour, got my suit all dry clean that you can ill afford because you're running a business. Hi, Dave, how are you? Great stuff. Lovely to meet you. Fabulous. There you go, office, right? Because once again, you've got this combative stuff. But and I sit down there with him, and then 2 minutes in of the hour meeting, having paid 8 quid worth of diesel, 6 quid parking, couldn't find this morning, by the way. Right? What's going on there? Right, anyway, in 2 minutes in of the hour meeting, Dave recognises something, that he can't stand me, and I can't stand him. But don't worry, we've got 58 minutes of bullshit to go. And at the end of it, he says, that sounds interesting, can you waste 2 days of your time writing a proposal? Sure. And we do that. Inefficient way of doing business. That's what 4Networking is about, is to get rid of all that nonsense. Yes, but I need bigger businesses. I'm looking for high net worth individuals. You know what I'm looking for? A wife with a button on her forehead that when I press it, she makes me a cup of tea. With the vodka, that button is so But you see what I'm trying to say, right? Yes, but I'm looking for... No, I'm looking for solicitors. There's none in the room, so therefore... Show of hands. Who in the room knows a solicitor? Right, that's the point with networking. It's not just the person you're talking to, it's all the people that you know. So let's say, for instance, I've got your ideal client in my phone. How do you get from my phone to your phone? How? By getting to know me, by getting to talk to me. But if you come up to me and say, hey Brad, any referrals, you're obviously connected, Brad, any referrals you can get me, I'll give you 10%. Wow, brilliant. Tell you what I'll do, the person I've known for 10 years, what I'll do is I'll throw him in the bin for 10% from someone I've just met. Nonsense. It takes time networking, and if you've not got time, it's not going to work. I might as well just be honest with you. Not going to work. But what you do in life and business is this: run as many horses as you can. So you run your normal business where you ring people up and you go and have meetings and you come to 4Networking as well and build up relationships over time. That, I said before, who in the room would pass a lead, a referral, a job, a contact to someone they don't like, someone they don't know, someone they don't trust? Nobody. So the reason that people pass leads, referrals, jobs and contacts, and they like you, they know you, they trust you, it takes time. That's a cornerstone of what 4Networking stands for. You know, I was with Theo Pathetis from Dragon's Den a few months back. Sorry, Prince Charles told me not to name drop. I know that nobody else laughs at that. But I was with him and a guy came rushing up to him. I was dressed like this. I always am, so that's my thing. And comes rushing up to him. Hello Theo, hello Theo, hello Theo. Look at our investments, look what you did there. I do hedge funds, Theo. Any referrals you can get me, I'll give you. Oh God. And he said to him, I said, Theo, I said, have you ever gone, fuck me, where's my checkbook? Never. Yet people do it day in, day out. And then he looked at me, started looking me up and down. And what do you do, young man? Here we go. I says, I'm a builder. And what do you build? It's a big fuck off national businesses, how you doing? Do yourself a favour in life. Do yourself a favour in business. Stop looking at people with pound notes over their heads, looking for high net worth individuals, looking for. Stop overestimating people based on the car they've got. Stop underestimating people based on the shoes they've got. They've not got the Christian Burton shoes or what they call, right? Nonsense. Stop it. Treat everyone the same with respect, which is what I do. Right? And I tell you something, my methodology, which people said to me wouldn't work, you can't possibly be I'm a motivational speaker. No one's going to take you seriously, Brad, dressed in that manner. You're going to need a crisp suit, and when you walk to the right, you're talking about the future. And when you walk to the left, you're talking about the past. You need to be an orator. You know what you need to be in life? Yourself. That's what you need to be in life, yourself. You know what you need to be in business? Yourself. Stop being the thing that you think people want you to be in order to win business. Because think about this. If you're only 80% being you, 20% of that time and energy is being used up, wasted, to try and be this carbon copy of what you think a business person would be. I'm 100% me 100% of the time, and if people don't like me for being me, that's okay. Next. You know why? Because there's a big wide world of people out there that will like me, that will like the fact that I'm daft enough to look like a drug dealer. I'm not a drug dealer, by the way. Not anymore. Anymore? Go on then! Oh, I'll put them on the pockets, you knock them in. Right. So, just going to move on now, because the clock is ticking. Right, this is a bit where it starts getting real interesting. Right. Alright, so my wife wanted me to go and get a proper job, at least you know where you stand. Right? And every just stepping away, about 3 years ago, I'm at a Newbury service station. I put some fuel in on a company card. Hello, mate, number 6, please. He said it's authorisation declined, insufficient funds. Sorry? It's been declined. Do you have an alternate method of payment? I don't really know. What I'll do, if I can, is if I give you my keys now, what I'll do is I'll ring the wife. Is that alright? Thank you. Cheers. Hi, honey. I'm over at Newbury service station now, and the car's response, so I need you to... Right, I get it. Right, I know we should go and get a proper job. Yes, I understand. Okay, listen to me for a second. Right, Kate, listen, I'm having a bad day. Right, don't be sick. Alright. I'm having a bad day. Right, what would you like me to do then? Yes, I understand. Right. Yes, you'll pay, thank you. 3 years ago. Insufficient funds when you're starting a business off is okay. Starting a business off, I was 7 years in, people. 7 years in. I might as well have on my business plan a foreword by J.K. Rowling. Right? Because it's just nonsense, it's a work of fiction, and you need to stop kidding yourself that your business plan is going to stand up beyond the first part of contact. Because we do that, and you've got some clever business coach there telling you, what's going to happen? Nonsense. Because as soon as you get a punch in the mouth, your plan goes to bits. And you've got to go, oh shit, no, what the plans are here, the plan doesn't prepare you for this, and this is what I'm trying to say to you. Has anyone, genuine question, ever come across a self-employed person that has starved to death? No. Has anyone ever come across a self-employed person that has lost a house? One person, 2 people, 3 people. Let me explain something. I had the letters from the people saying you're going to lose your house with my thing. And the people that lose the house as a result of the mortgage are the people that don't ring the people up and say, hey, guess what, we can do something about it because there's legal systems that allow you not to lose your house. That you know, if you ring these people up and say, I'm going to pay you £10 a month, they can't do anything. They've changed the law and legislation. That's why I understood. So I was as close as any person who's ever been to losing the house. But I saved my house. I saved my house by actually doing something about it. and not continue to live the way it was. Started living on Tesco's beans and waffles and that kind of thing. So you can do it, but you've got to have a reason to do that. So my wife said to me, go and get a proper job. At that point, I ignored her. What you don't know about this is 10 years ago I was delivering pizzas to keep my business afloat. Me, motivational speaker, delivering pizzas, 31-year-old. How proud do you think I felt like that? 10 years on, how proud do you think I felt now? Because I understand, at the time I was beating myself up, I should be patting myself on the back that I did what it took. And this is what you're going to have to do to get your business going and to keep it going, to do what it takes. And if you're not prepared to do what it takes, then that's fine. Be honest with yourself and go and get a proper job. At least you know where you stand. We bought a house when things started going well. I lived in terraced houses or council estates or whatever. And my wife, when we bought this house, when the business started going well, or my businesses, she said to me, she went, "You bought a house with a wood burner." I'm from Salford, right? We had paraffin heaters in the 70s. Do you know what I mean? What? You light a fire in a house and don't run for insurance purposes? No. We got this house with this wood burner, and each of in a village. That was quite interesting. Me moving into the village and saying, "Oh, honestly, I'm not a drug dealer. I've written a book called Get Off Your..." Oh, I'm a drug dealer. It's easy. But in each of the corners of the room, was a spider, and. I said to her, "Do you want me to get these spiders out?" She said, "Oh, no, they're small. I don't mind small spiders." You say something, people. You've all got a small spider in your life, but you choose to do nothing about it because I don't mind small spiders. Well, guess what? Small spiders grow to big, fuck-off, hairy, horrible ones. And right now, when I say a small spider, you know what I'm talking about. You've got something in your life and in your mind that you're not dealing with because it's easy to leave there. And it's easy to leave there, and it's easy to leave there, and it's easy to leave there. This is what I did. Because my life was all about, my spider was all about short-termism. Every single penny that I got was about going out on weekends, short-term, buying new trainers, short-term, nothing's changed. But I can afford them now, that's the difference. And what happened with me is it changed my life from short-term to medium and long-term. So I stopped saying, well, guess what? I can't keep up with the neighbours anymore. I've got to live on birds, on potato, waffles and beans. But it's going to be worth it in the end because I'm doing it for the reason. That goes back down to what I said from the outset. Why? Why are you doing it? The reason I'm doing it, because I promised my children I would take them to Disney World. The first time I took my children to Disney World, I put £5,000 on a credit card. The wife said, "We can't afford to do that." And I said, "We can't afford not to." The kids are never going to turn around and all they say, "God, Dad, do you remember? I think it was 2009 when you paid the poll tax." Oh, it was awesome, wasn't it? You know something, people? Invest in memories. This is your life. This is your life. And whatever story you keep telling yourself as to why you can't succeed is your story. Because I told myself the same story. I was 31 when I started my own business. I'm 31, I'm 42 now. So up to that point, I've done 4 years on the dole. I've been addicted to drugs twice. I've been brought up in a council estate in Manchester. And that's the story that I tell myself. That was a bump. That was a northern monkey. That was whatever. And the point when I stopped telling myself that internal story was when I realised, actually, this is my life and I've got to stop looking towards the government to bail me out or a sky daddy. This is going to be me. Me. You know, life could always be better. Life could always be worse. But right now, people, you have something that one of the richest men in the world doesn't have. Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs. $69 billion in reserves at the point when he died, Steve Jobs. And he couldn't save him. How much do you believe that Steve Jobs would give you for 1 day of your life? Do you keep negotiating? The clock's ticking. Come on. He'd go $69 billion. Let's say, for instance, that I've got a hotline to God, whoever that is, not religious, but nonetheless. And God's saying, "Hey, guess what, Brad? You can have a load of extra days of your life to sell to people here. You don't want to buy an extra day of your life for £1,000? No. Last day of your life, you know that you're going tomorrow? How many do you want? As many as you can afford." That says to me that today is as important as the last day in your life. The difference is we take today for granted. We take life for granted. We take our health for granted. We take each other for granted. We take our children for granted. We take our family for granted. We take things for granted. Stop taking things for granted. Stop it. You know something, people? What life is about? Life's about those 69 moments. Those moments when you're in a beer garden with your friend, sat in a KFC with Dave. We've done it. Sat there Pissed up. Love you, mate. What? Nothing? It's about
telling everybody about that.
It's our secret. It was about having a scoot on a shopping trolley when no one's looking. You know what? Do it when people are looking. It's about driving through puddles. I've got an Audi, we were just talking about that. You know, I'm 42. I drove through a puddle the other day. Wonderfully exciting. The student wasn't happy. But, this is your life, people. This is your life. This is your life. This is your life. This is your life. And I'll tell you something right now. What we need to do, I've asked you to do one thing here. No sales pitch, I'm not interested. Right, you join one up with me, don't. It's not about sales pitch. I want you to grab your mobile phones. Grab your mobile phones, people. And I want you to text someone you've overlooked sometime. And I want you to text them this message: I love you, comma, you know, question mark and a kiss. Now, some people will go, I'm not doing that, that's silly. Let me tell you something. There's been a time in your life when you wish to God you'd have sent this message.
Yeah.
Right? You've got nothing to lose. Send it to someone you've overlooked. I love you, comma, you know, question mark and a kiss. And watch the magic that happens today. Because somewhere along the way, remember when I said from the outset where we forget what our vision is and our dream? We forget our family, and we do the same because work gets in the way. We're so busy writing proposals, we're so busy doing this that you stop doing the things that you should do. Send that text message and I'm going to round off now. But this is it. There's no shortcuts. No qualifications. Dad was a heroin addict, 31-year-old, delivering pizzas. Fast forward 10 years, I'm now highest rated business author, motivational speaker. And that's the other thing. People tell me I can't become a motivational speaker. Well, guess what? 2 months ago, speaking at Bentley. This month, I'm speaking at JCB again. I'm a headline keynote speaker at the business show. And bear in mind, I had people tell me I couldn't do it. I had people tell me you can't call a book, get off your arse, nobody will buy it. It's the #1 business book on Amazon. So every step of the way, people have told me that I can't do it. People have told me, remember the business that I started off with and I walked because they told me there was daft ideas? Those same daft ideas are the same ones that have built 4Networking from nothing. Same one. So, there's no shortcuts, it's all you, it's your life, do something positive with it today. Thank you. I've got time for one question. Anyone's got a question or a comment? If not, sit down. You know what, the future of 4Networking is interesting. For the last 10 years I've spent